Welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing the match preview for Everton against Crystal Palace at Hill Dickinson Stadium. A really tough test, this one against Crystal Palace on Sunday. I'll try and unpack it as much as I can in detail in this match preview, but we might as well start with our visitors, Crystal Palace, and they are in fantastic form. Everton obviously are not in fantastic form, but Crystal Palace, they come into this one 19 unbeaten in the Premier League. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. Certainly last year, I think it's been an incredible turnaround for Crystal Palace. I think it was this time last year they were sat in the bottom three. I think they were even rock bottom coming into a sort of similar period of the season. So to turn around and be, I think they're second in the league and 19 unbeaten in the Premier League, I think, you have to say fair play to Oliver Glasner. He's really turned Crystal Palace around. But, if we look at their squad as a whole, Crystal Palace, the ones that stand out going forward are Ismail Assar and Jean-Philippe Mateta. Jean-Philippe Mateta, we all know he's a fantastic striker. He can hurt you at any moment. He's really free scoring. He had a fantastic season last year, scoring goals for Crystal Palace. And he's a big reason why, one, they won the FA Cup, and two, they're now playing in Europe every Thursday in the Europa Conference League. So Jean-Philippe Mateta's one definitely to watch out for, but also Ismail Assar. I think he struggled a little bit when he first came to Crystal Palace. He was a player that was in and out of the team on the bench for a few games, but now he seems to be a fantastic, starter for Crystal Palace. He was one that was always fantastic when he was at Watford, in my opinion, and why maybe Everton didn't take a chance on him all those years ago, I'm not so sure. Maybe it was obviously due to our financial fair play issues, but going forward, the ones to watch for Crystal Palace really are Jean-Philippe Mateta and Ismail Assar. They're the ones that you really have to keep quiet on Sunday if you're going to get anything from the game. But also, I wanted to focus on another player. It's Adam Wharton in midfield. Obviously, doesn't get the plaudits going forward as much as maybe the other two that I mentioned before, but Adam Wharton is just a fantastic midfielder. He's so silky on the ball. He reminds me of sort of a foreign sort of either like a Spanish midfielder or a French midfielder, that's really tricky and silky on the ball. But he's a real good asset for the England national team, that's for sure. But yeah, as I said before, he's just a real one to watch in midfield. We're going to have to keep him quiet as well if we are to expect anything from the game on Sunday against Crystal Palace. But obviously, as we know, last weekend how they got on, we know that they beat Liverpool at Selhurst Park. So fingers crossed we can stop them getting to number 20 unbeaten. Obviously, they did us a little bit of favour by beating Liverpool last weekend. But as I said before, fingers crossed we can stop them getting to 20 in a row and just try and stop this juggernaut, which is Crystal Palace coming to Hill Dickinson Stadium. But we might as well focus on Everton now. That's enough of me rambling on about Crystal Palace. We'll focus on Everton now. And it's been a tough few weeks for us, really. Obviously, getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup at the hands of Wolverhampton Wanderers, a draw to Aston Villa, 0-0 at home, which obviously on paper it doesn't look like a terrible performance. It doesn't look like a terrible draw, but 0-0. Villa aren't playing very well at the moment. They're just kind of finding their feet in the league and kind of getting back to where they were last season, obviously winning in the Europa League this week. But also, if you're looking at Everton on paper, we should be beating a team like Aston Villa with the form that they were in. West Ham at home was a disappointing performance, really. It was a game that, in my opinion, I was really confident for, and I was probably a little bit more confident than I was when Nuno Espirito Santo got appointed at West Ham. But still, I was expecting us to get 3 points for the game, and obviously to come away with the performance that we put in, and obviously coming away with only 1 point and a 1-1 draw was a little bit disappointing. So it has been a few difficult weeks for us, really. I don't think we did register a victory in the month of September at all, which again, it's a little bit disappointing considering how well we did start in August. We were free scoring, we were creating a lot of chances. Obviously, Jack Grealish the stats have come out this week that I think he's top of the chance creation for the Premier League this season so far. So long may that continue. But again, just seeing us stagnate a little bit in the month of September was a little bit disappointing because we wanted to carry on the performances from August and really put in, a decent few performances in September to really plough ourselves up that league, but we haven't really kicked on. But a new month now, as I said earlier, we ticked into October now, so it's a new month, and we do really need a good performance against Crystal Palace to get the wheels turning again and hopefully catapult us up that league even more. But focusing away from that now, we'll go to the head-to-head, and we do actually have a really good record against Crystal Palace. We did the league double over them last season, obviously winning 2-0, 2-1 at Goodison Park, and then also winning 2-1 away from home as well, with goals from Charlie Alcaraz and Beto in that game at Selhurst Park. So we do have a really decent record against Crystal Palace, and also at home, we have to talk about that 3-2, 2-0 down at half-time comeback where we secured our place in the Premier League under Frank Lampard. We have to talk about that game because you can't mention a trip to the home of Everton for Crystal Palace without mentioning that game, because it was an absolutely fantastic evening, and obviously kept us in the league. But Moving away from that now, we'll just go to my prediction before we wrap up this preview. I think I was maybe a little bit too optimistic with the West Ham game. I'm going to go with 1-1 for this one. I think that will be a really good result. As I said earlier, Palace in fantastic form, Everton not really in great form. So if we can hold them to a 1-1 draw and just stop them somehow, I think that'll be a really good performance. Then obviously into the international break with a trip to Manchester City at the Etihad just after the international break, looming large after that. But that is all from me today. Let me know your thoughts on obviously the Crystal Palace game on Sunday. Are you excited? Do you think we can get anything from the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.